Welcome to a mini review of cellular respiration. So this is an image from your textbook comparing where mitochondria are in both an animal cell and a plant cell. And we haven't compared these in class so far, but the plant cell has a much more rigid cell wall and the animal cell has a cell membrane. But within the animal cell, we'll have many mitochondria, which we're showing here in brown, and there are also mitochondria present in the plant cell because a plant cell will also do cellular respiration. Now, to start our cellular respiration journey, we're starting out in the cytosol, in the cytoplasm, where glucose gets converted to pyruvate in a process called glycolysis. Glycolysis itself takes in 2 ATP, but puts out 4 ATP. So as a result, we get a little bit of usable cell energy in the form of 2 ATP right out of the gate with glycolysis. Pyruvate is the 3-carbon breakdown product of glucose, and that gets shuttled into the mitochondria. So now we're in the mitochondria, again represented up here, and now here in this space. Mitochondria have folds where a lot of these reactions actually occur across, and so it's important to know that it's a bag within a bag structure, which we'll talk more about when we talk about organelles. Pyruvate then gets oxidized. We're not going to spend a lot of time on that step, and then gets transferred into the citric acid cycle. Citric acid cycle is going to use the breakdown products of glucose and pyruvate oxidation, and it's going to turn and turn and turn in many different reactions. As a byproduct, we get 2 more ATP. We're gathering our cellular energy in the form of ATP, and the citric acid cycle, or the Krebs cycle, also turns out CO2. On top of that, it excites some electrons which get transferred into NADH and FADH2. We'll call them NAD and FAD. So the citric acid cycle, to recap, takes in the byproducts of pyruvate oxidation, puts out CO2, we get a little ATP, and we transfer more energy in the form of high energy electrons to the electron transport chain. The electron transport chain also happens in the mitochondria and takes in these high energy electrons from NAD and FAD and makes even more ATP from them. So from this process, we get approximately 32 ATP, although that number is squishy. Along that way, we take in O2 and we put out H2O. So we're actually using oxygen as what we would call the final electron acceptor, and that process creates H2O. If we think about our cellular respiration equation, we put in glucose, we put in oxygen, and we get out CO2 and H2O. Along the way, we make 2, and 32 ATP, so we get at least 36 ATP along the way. Again, backing up, this is all happening in the cytoplasm and the mitochondria, and we're breaking down glucose to store energy for the cell in usable ATP molecules.